Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning into our webinar tonight. This is Small Ship, Big Adventures with BST Vacations and Adventure Canada. People are still sort of trickling in, so as we're getting settled, I'm just going to play this short video for you. So please enjoy, and the presentation will start shortly.
Hello?
Oh, hi, Rob.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Time is currently 0600 on Saturday, August the 29th. Our current position is 74 degrees, 47 minutes north, 83 degrees, 15 minutes west. Outside temperature is sitting at 8 degrees Celsius or 46 degrees Fahrenheit. We have a wonderful day of glacier cruising, wildlife viewing, and hiking the Arctic tundra. It's time to get up and enjoy this beautiful landscape. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
You can read books, you can watch TV shows, but when you're out here on the tundra yourself, listening to people who really know what they're talking about, it's a whole different world.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that video. Let's see, do we have Rob here?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. I logged on and then my internet just completely froze on me. So I'm a little bit late getting on the call. Thanks, Alina. So I just wanted to welcome everyone that's joining us tonight on behalf of Blow Stewart Travel. And thank you for taking the time to join us. And I know we're going to have, just judging by that video, I'm already intrigued. Can't wait to see the rest of it. So Alina's going to lead us through this, and there's going to be some amazing itineraries visiting our own fantastic country that I know a lot of people are really interested in, especially now during COVID times. They want to stay, even though that's not really close to home, the Arctic, but it's still home. So I'll let Alina carry on, and we'll chat at the end. And if there's any questions, hopefully we can get them answered for you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the warm introduction, Rob. And thank you so much to BST Vacations for the opportunity to present to all of you today. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining tonight's webinar. This is Small Ship, Big Adventures with BST Vacations and Adventure Canada. My name is Alina Cheng, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm a business development and account manager with Adventure Canada, and I work with partners in Ontario, Quebec, and Atlantic Canada. I started working with Adventure Canada in July 2020, and I am so excited because I'm scheduled to take my first trip with the company this summer. I actually used to work in museums and galleries before moving over to the travel industry 3 years ago, and I see travel as the perfect marriage of my love for art and culture. In this presentation, I'll show you how Adventure Canada creates life-changing travel experiences through meaningful cultural exchange. The travel advisors at BST Vacations are very knowledgeable and are ready to help you book your next trip with Adventure Canada. I know you'll feel very confident and taken care of when you book through them. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please pop them into the Q&A box and I will answer them at the end of the webinar. Be sure to watch until the very end of the presentation because we're giving away a $500 US credit for our 2022 Adventure Canada trip to one lucky winner. So to enter the draw, you need to keep watching until the end of the webinar.
That means you have to listen to the questions and answers.
Yeah, I know.
For everyone attending today's presentation, you can save an exclusive 15% on any departure on board our main ship, the Ocean Endeavour. This special applies to departure dates in 2022 when you book by February 16th. So please contact your BST Vacations travel advisor to learn more about the eligible trips for this promotion.
Yeah.
Let's start with a little background information about the company. Adventure Canada is a Canadian small ship expedition cruise operator. Our office is in Mississauga, Ontario, and we visit destinations in Europe, Atlantic Canada, the Arctic, and Antarctica. We also visit some other destinations in between, such as Haida Gwaii on Canada's west coast, as well as Panama and Costa Rica. One of the key differences between Adventure Canada and other expedition cruise companies is we are a true family-owned and operated business in every way. And I know that BST Vacations can relate to this as well. So pictured here, we have our CEO, Cedar Swan, on the left. MJ Swan, our Director of Business Development, is in the middle. And Alina Swan, our Director of Product, is on the right. And as you can probably tell, they're all siblings. And it was their dad, Matthew Sr., who actually started the business in 1987. After working with Adventure Canada for over a year, I can confirm that the feeling of family translates into everything we do, whether it's in the office, on the ship, or in the communities we visit. All of our staff, guests, and crew are a part of the Adventure Canada family. One of the reasons I'm so proud to work at Adventure Canada is our regenerative tourism plan. Sustainable travel means trying to keep the state of the world the same as it currently is, but regenerative tourism goes beyond sustainable and works to improve the state of the destinations we visit. To do this, we are undertaking several initiatives to leave the places we touch and the world in a better place. We're looking at innovative ways to run our operation, support our partners, protect the natural world, and value people. At Adventure Canada, we understand that regenerative travel is part of securing a healthy economic outlook for these communities, and that's why we established our Discovery Fund, to which every passenger contributes with the purchase of every trip. When you book a trip with Adventure Canada, a portion of your tour fare goes to support grassroots, regional, national, and international initiatives. These initiatives allow us to contribute to issues like habitat enhancement, youth outreach, community support, and the work of our many charitable partners. I want to take a moment to address the elephant in the room, which is our COVID-19 action plan. I wish we didn't have to have one, but of course, it's totally necessary now. All our ships and operation practices undergo strict safety audits, and we're committed to upholding the highest safety standards on all of our trips. We've implemented a COVID-19 action plan that will help keep you safe while you travel. Aspects of the plan do include mandatory vaccinations. It also involves pre-board testing, health monitoring during the trip, and safe social distance practices throughout. We closely monitor the situation and will make changes to and further develop these protocols in the months ahead in consultation with the World Health Organization and the Association of Arctic Expedition Cruise Operators. Have peace of mind when you book your trip with our flexible booking policy. In light of the current global state, we're offering flexible cancellation terms and transfers. Additionally, Adventure Canada has been awarded a Safe Travel Certificate by the World Travel and Tourism Council and the Tourism Industry Association of Ontario. This accreditation recommends Adventure Canada as a global leader in our adopted health and hygiene protocols. If you have any questions about our COVID-19 protocols or our flexible booking policy, please contact your BST Vacations travel advisor and they will be able to help. Our guests mean the world to us, and we want them to have the best experience traveling with us. Speaking of our guests, let's take a moment to talk about who our travelers are. We have a wide variety of people joining us on our expeditions. Typically, our clients are between the ages of 55 and 75 years old, but we always say that age is just a number. We've had guests as young as babies on board and others who are in their 90s join us. The most important thing about our clients is their adventurous and curious nature. They are lifelong learners and love meeting people from all walks of life. Does this sound like you? If so, let me show you what your trip with Adventure Canada will look like. Our home for these expeditions is the 198-passenger Ocean Endeavour. The vessel is 137 meters long and 35 meters tall. The Ocean Endeavour is very stable because it is an ice-class ship with a Class 1B ice hull. This means that extra thick steel sits around the hull and it makes it bottom heavy so it sits lower in the water and handles times of rougher weather with ease. We spend our time on board enjoying everything that the ship has to offer. The ship has many amenities, including a gym, heated saltwater pool, hot tub, 2 saunas, stretching classes, as well as a full spa offering massages and more. We have 3 lounges, 3 bars, 1 library, and 1 dining room. The kitchen can accommodate those who have dietary needs, restrictions, and allergies, as long as we're told of them ahead of departure. So don't forget to tell your BST Vacations travel advisor that you have an allergy or a food restriction, because let me tell you, once we get up into the Arctic, it's a little bit tricky to get any new provisions on board. But however, we do try to source local provisions along the way. So depending on where we're traveling through, we might try and secure some local delicacies so that our travelers can enjoy traditional dishes in the areas where they're traveling. In terms of cabins, we have 10 different categories of cabins available, and these range from shared dormitory style, interior, exterior with porthole or picture windows, and suites, which include options with matrimonial beds. All categories have ensuite washrooms. We also have a large number of cabins with no single supplement for solo travelers, and that means that you don't have to pay an additional fee. So if you're looking to travel by yourself, you won't have to share a room. You won't have to pay extra to have your own room, and you won't have to share as long as we have the availability. And if you're not sure which cabin category is the right one for you, please contact your BST Vacations travel advisor and they'll be able to assist. The ship has extensive spaces out on deck for everyone to enjoy the outdoors, the passing views, and get some shots of the incredible ice, wildlife, and landscapes. I mentioned that Adventure Canada's preferred method of travel is expedition cruising. Expedition cruising is not like your typical large cruise ship, and I'll tell you why. But first I want to see, I've never done this before, so I'm trying this out on all of you. I'm going to put a poll on your screen, and it is, have you ever taken an expedition cruise before? So I hope you can all see that. So if you do, please answer, because I'd love to see if any of you have been on an expedition cruise before. So let me tell you a little more about expedition travel. Expedition travel is characterized by its dynamic and fluid nature. While we have an intended itinerary for all expeditions, we don't guarantee that we'll follow it exactly as planned. And this is part of the adventure. We could change course for a couple of different reasons, but the number one reason is because of the unique opportunity for wildlife sighting. So because we're on an expedition, we can't plan when we're going to see incredible wildlife. So for example, if we see a polar bear, or if we have somebody spot a polar bear and tell us that there is the opportunity to go look at it a little bit closer, we're going to go look at the polar bear. So that's why we might change course. All right, let's see if I can share the answers here. Okay, so now I can see the results. Thank you so much for participating. And I can see that, let's see, some of you have been on an expedition cruise before, which is fantastic. And 88% of you say not yet. So that's wonderful. I hope that we can get you out there as soon as possible. Thank you for participating. Okay. So Adventure Canada delivers a program that provides our guests with authentic and immersive experiences in the destinations we're visiting. The main focus of each of our expeditions is the destination, not the vessel. The biggest difference between a cruise and an expedition cruise is that a cruise focuses on the ship, whereas the key to an expedition cruise is all about getting you off the ship. We have 3 different types of excursions which are included in your tour price on all of our expeditions. The first type of excursion is Zodiac Cruising. Zodiacs are extremely safe and maneuverable, and they have shallow drafts. They allow us to navigate within shallow inlets, fjords, bays, and coves to get up close to geology, wildlife, and ice while maintaining respectful distances. Its open design puts us right in the middle of the action so you can immerse yourself in nature. The next type of excursion is community visits. We will conduct tours of towns and villages where local guides will show us around. It's extremely important for Adventure Canada to always use local guides in the places we travel to. During community visits, passengers are welcomed to cultural presentations and informative lectures. We may even be invited to take part in traditional games, dancing, and food tastings. We use our Zodiacs to access small rural towns, some of which have no road access and are only accessible by sea. The third type of excursion we offer is expedition landings. For days that offer hiking opportunities, we will execute various difficulty-based excursions determined by length, elevation, and terrain. There will be options for everyone, including strenuous, intermediate, and leisurely hikes, as well as themed walks such as photography or botany, and stationed interpretation sites for topics like archaeology, history, and geology. I like to say that this part is the choose your own adventure part, because if you're not feeling like a very strenuous hike that day, you can do the themed walk, or you can sit on the beach and just enjoy the scenery. Adventure Canada ensures education has a front row seat on all of our expeditions. A key component to our expeditions is our expedition team. These specialists are renowned leaders and experts in their respective fields, including topics such as climate change, conservation, and Indigenous teachings and languages. As part of our mandate, we have at least 1 expedition team member for every 7 passengers on board the ship. This high ratio of expedition team members to passengers allows for intimate, one-on-one, and small group opportunities based on your individual interests. We ensure diversity in our programming, and we offer several lectures each day in varied topics ranging from photography to marine biology to history. Let's take some time to go over the destinations that Adventure Canada travels to. First up is the Arctic. The Arctic is filled with jaw-dropping sights and unparalleled wildlife encounters. This is a magical place that people dream of visiting for years. The first and most obvious reason that people visit the Arctic is for the ice. The further north we travel to, the more ice we can see. We also specifically visit locations just to see ice, including this photo here, which is of the Ilulissat Ice Fjord in Greenland. And this has been named a UNESCO World Heritage Site. We stop at the Ilulissat Ice Fjord on both of our Northwest Passage and High Arctic Explorer departures. Next, we have wildlife. The Arctic is home to some of the world's most beautiful, majestic animals. With ample time to explore, there are many opportunities to find what we call the Arctic Big Five. First up, we have the icon of the Arctic and the most popular of the Arctic Big Five, the polar bear. We love watching polar bears from the ship, and if we're lucky, we might even see a mama bear teaching her cubs how to catch their food. Next up are walruses, or toothwalkers. This name is used for walruses because they use their tusks to haul themselves out of the water. They're also apparently very smelly, and you can often smell them before you see them. Here are musk oxen. The musk ox is sometimes called the bearded one. We often see musk oxen in the Tellerutiep-Imanga area near Devon Island. Here is the beluga whale. They're so cute. Belugas are social animals and very vocal communicators. They're easy to spot in the water with their white-pink coloring. And doesn't it look like they're smiling? I think that's the best. Finally, we have the majestic narwhal, which is sometimes called the unicorn of the sea. They're truly elusive creatures, and they're often only found in narrow fjords. So another benefit of traveling on an expedition ship with a shallow draft is we can enter smaller fjords that larger cruise ships can't and hopefully find narwhal there. And I'm going to try and do one more poll. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, so this is, which of the Arctic Big Five would you most want to see? So I've got polar bear, walrus, musk ox, beluga, and narwhal. If you could please tell me which one intrigues you the most, which one would you be most excited to go out there and see in person, what would it be? Ooh, I'm getting a very good mix of responses here. Okay, that's great. And for me personally, I'll tell you which one I'm most interested by. I'm most interested in seeing narwhal. I think they're so beautiful, and I've never been whale watching before. So that is my number one. I hope I get to see it this summer. All right. Thank you so much for participating in this poll, and I'll share the responses with you. So we have 50% would like to see polar bear, 13% would like to see musk ox, 13% beluga, and 25% narwhal. Oh, sad, nobody wants to see the walrus. I'm sure you would love to see the walrus if you saw it, if you got to see it, but I think I might have turned people off with how smelly they are. Awesome, thank you so much for participating, everyone. So in addition to the Arctic Big Five, we have numerous species of seals and whales, including humpback, orca, and minke whales. And then we also have on land creatures such as Arctic fox, Arctic hare, and caribou. And then if you look up to the sky, we're always on the lookout for a variety of birds during our expeditions, like gyrfalcons and murres. A special part of visiting the Arctic is meeting the beautiful people of the North. We have the chance to visit Inuit communities and feel their warmth and passion for their culture. The people of the North have not only survived in the Arctic, but they've thrived there for over 5,000 years. An aspect of the Arctic many people find interesting is the historic significance it holds for polar explorers. Both of our Northwest Passage expeditions, as well as our High Arctic Explorer trips, stop at Beechey Island. This site is the resting place of 3 crew members on the ill-fated Franklin expedition of 1845. Because of its significance to the exploration of the Arctic, Beechey Island has been deemed a National Historic Site. The summer is actually one of the best times to view the natural beauty found on the tundra. One might think that the Arctic is a barren landscape, but in the summertime, the tundra is in full bloom with gorgeous wildflowers. These are species that are unique to the Arctic, and nature enthusiasts especially love photographing and learning about these plants. And finally, one of the most special selling features of the Arctic is the Aurora Borealis, or Northern Lights. It's not guaranteed to see these on all of our expeditions, and that's due to the amount of daylight in the Arctic during the summertime. However, trips like our Out of the Northwest Passage and Greenland and Wild Labrador expeditions have the best chances of seeing them because these trips take place in September. The Aurora Borealis are one of the greatest natural wonders of a trip to the north. Here's a map of the Arctic expeditions we will run in 2022 and 2023. You'll notice our trips only have 1 or 2 departure dates per year. This is because we plan our itineraries to match the best time of year to visit the destinations we travel to. For example, the Northwest Passage has a short window in the year where the ice breaks up and we can easily sail through it. So therefore, we've planned our Northwest Passage dates to match the window. I'll now go over each of our Arctic trips and mention a couple of highlights from all of them. Okay, so first up we have Heart of the Arctic. This will be our first return to the Arctic in 2022. This itinerary focuses on the wonderful people of the North and their vibrant communities. The name Heart of the Arctic really has 2 meanings, because not only do we travel geographically into the heart of the Arctic, we also meet the friendly people who are the heart of the Arctic. We have a charter flight meeting our travelers in Ottawa to take us to Iqaluit, and then we have a packed 13 days planned. This trip will end in Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, where a charter flight will then take us to Toronto, where you will catch your commercial flight home. Here we have Kinggate, also known as Cape Dorset, a charming community on southern Baffin Island who is renowned for their Inuit art. It's the birthplace of the Inuit art market and remains the location of the oldest professional Inuit printmaking studio in Canada. I myself actually studied printmaking in university, and my professor did an artist residency here. She said it was the absolute best place to learn and study the art of printmaking. Next up is our High Arctic Explorer expedition. We have 2 departures for this trip in 2022 and 2023. In each year, one departure will start in Greenland and end in Resolute, and then the second will start in Resolute and end in Greenland. So it's the same itinerary, just run in reverse at the other. We have charter flights available for this trip in Ottawa and Toronto, which will meet the ship in their respective ports. High Arctic Explorer is often called our mini Northwest Passage, as it explores portions of the Northwest Passage in under 2 weeks. This is a great opportunity to visit the Arctic with school-aged children, as it's only 12 days in length and takes place during summer vacation. High Arctic Explorer is an exploratory trip that has a lot of flexibility in the program to spend an ample amount of time on both Canadian and Greenlandic sides. Visit communities and landing sites, search for wildlife, and find picturesque landscapes to enjoy in both countries. Here are some of the colorful buildings we will see along Sisimiut Coast in Greenland. Next are our Canadian signature experiences, our Northwest Passage expeditions. These are by far our best sellers. We offer 2 sailings through the Northwest Passage each year. Into the Northwest Passage sails from east to west, and out of the Northwest Passage runs from west to east. These expeditions are a once-in-a-lifetime 17-day long journey through the historic Northwest Passage. They start and end in Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, or Kugluktuk in the Northwest Territories, and we offer charter flights from Toronto and Yellowknife for each departure. A lot of people wonder what the main differences between these 2 trips are. The most prominent difference is the time of year in which they run. Into the Northwest Passage begins in August, when it's still a little warmer in the Arctic, and out of the Northwest Passage features temperatures that are colder during the month of September. First, let's take a look at our Into the Northwest Passage trip. Into the Northwest Passage retraces the westerly route of those explorers in the 19th century looking to sail through the Arctic to Asia. As you can see on the map here, we'll be making a stop on Baffin Island, where we'll get the chance to experience some great community visits. Since the Into program sails in August, offering warmer weather, this makes it a great choice for those interested in learning and searching for birds and botany. The migratory bird species have not quite left the Arctic yet, and the purple saxifrage will be in full bloom as temperatures average around 7 degrees Celsius. You can see in this image here that there is actually a polar bear hunting for birds, and they're hatching chicks on this cliff. When I saw this photo the first time, had a hard time finding the polar bear, so I added a arrow there, so in case you didn't see it before, there he is. And in the summer months in the Arctic, there's no sea ice for polar bears to hunt seals on, which is why they look to birds for their fuel instead. Our Out of the Northwest Passage voyage swings north to Ellesmere Island, where we can visit Canada's most northerly community called Grise Fjord. This expedition typically attracts more adventurous spirits looking to go through the Northwest Passage and as far north as they can into Smith Sound. We'll push as far north as conditions allow, with a chance to sail up to 79 degrees north, passing magnificent fjords and glaciers along the way. This is truly a trip of a lifetime. Both programs offer an ample amount of opportunity for wildlife, but of course, as we go further north, we'll start to see more ice and giant icebergs. This trip is slightly cooler. Temperatures tend to hover around 0 degrees Celsius, and your hikes may include trekking over freshly dusted snow. Since we're sailing in September, there will also be a good chance for us to see the Aurora Borealis on this trip. Next up, we have our Greenland and Wild Labrador trip. This expedition starts in Kangerlussuaq, Greenland, and we have a charter flight that goes from Toronto to Kangerlussuaq available. This is one of the most popular expeditions that we run, and part of the reason is because it's a 15-day trip, and it provides the opportunity to visit 3 distinct regions. So we start in Greenland, we make our way down the coast of Labrador, and then we end in St. John's, Newfoundland. There is no charter flight from St. John's at the end of the trip because there's a lot of commercial airfare options. And then, of course, some people like to stay in Newfoundland a little longer and explore St. John's and beyond. A major highlight for this trip is the time we spend in Torngat Mountains National Park, which is one of Canada's, I should say, most hard to reach national parks. It's situated well above any community on the Canadian East Coast, and it is only accessible by ship and air. Polar bears, black bears, caribou, falcons, and eagles are among the species we hope to spot here. We'll also be on the lookout for marine mammals. Okay, so that was all of our Arctic expeditions, and now we're going to switch gears and look towards Atlantic Canada. Each year, Adventure Canada alternates between Atlantic Canadian and North Atlantic European departures. In 2022, we'll be staying close to home in Atlantic Canada. The season includes our signature Mighty St. Lawrence trip sailing around the Gaspé Peninsula, Atlantic Canada Explorer, which will stop at Sable Island, and 2 departures of Newfoundland Circumnavigation, all in the spring. Again, I'm just going to touch on a couple of highlights for each trip, but they are amazing, so I hope you get intrigued and look for more information. So first we have Mighty St. Lawrence, which begins in one of my favorite cities in the world, Old Quebec City. This then ends in St. Pierre, which is off the coast of Newfoundland, but is technically a part of France, which to me, it kind of blew my mind when I first heard it, but St. Pierre is the last French territory in Canada, and people here use the euro and speak French. And the trip ends here because some travelers like to spend some extra time on the quiet, colorful island of St. Pierre. We do have options for a flight back to St. John's, or travelers can make their own separate arrangements. This is an 11-day itinerary. It features 3 provincial parks and 3 national parks. It also stops at the Magdalen Islands, which is a place that many people want to visit. This expedition has been voted 50 tours of a lifetime by National Geographic, thanks to the amount of whale watching that we'll get to do on this trip. In the Gulf of the St. Lawrence, there are up to 12 species of migrating whales. We will try to spot minke, beluga, humpback, orca, and blue whales as we sail. Our next highlight is the otherworldly Mingan Archipelago National Park Reserve. Pictured here are sea stacks, which are carved by the motion of the ocean over centuries. There are 40 islands in the archipelago, and some of them are visitable, but some of them get hidden by the water. From Gaspé Town, the ship continues around the fingertip of the Gaspé Peninsula, where we'll visit Bonaventure Island and Percé Rock. Percé means pierced rock and was named by Samuel de Champlain in 1607. Up next is our Atlantic Canada Explorer expedition. This starts and ends in St. John's, Newfoundland, and it's a 12-day trip that has so much to offer, from phenomenal wildlife to history to hiking. This trip will feature a very special guest. Award-winning Canadian author Margaret Atwood will be joining us on Atlantic Canada Explorer in 2022. Margaret is a passionate conservationist and birder, and she's been a member of our expedition staff for more than 20 years. We love having her on board. Our first stop on this trip is Sable Island, which is located off the south coast of Nova Scotia. Part of what makes our Atlantic Canada Explorer trip so magical is the colony of wild horses that roam on this island. We'll get to view the horses from a safe distance and learn how they came to live on the island. We'll visit world-famous Cape Breton Island, where we'll hike along the Cabot Trail. Here we will see some of the best views that the East Coast has to offer. Next, let's look at our Newfoundland Circumnavigation expedition. Destination Canada has named our Newfoundland Circumnavigation a Canadian signature experience. We have 2 variations of this trip alternating each year between spring and autumn departures. Starting and ending in St. John's, the 12-day itinerary is the same for both versions, but the scenery between the 2 is, as you can imagine, very different. When we travel to Newfoundland in the spring, it's the best time of year to see icebergs. Icebergs are only present on the East Coast in the spring and early summer. We always enjoy icebergs from a safe distance, and our fleet of Zodiacs are the best way to capture them at all angles. When we visit Newfoundland in the autumn, we're welcomed by a rainbow of fall colors. This is also harvest season on the island, and the local delicacies are especially wonderful at this time of year. The Newfoundland itinerary is special because we visit 3 UNESCO World Heritage Sites in a row: Gros Morne National Park, which is pictured here, Lonceau Meadows, and Red Bay, Labrador. Each location has something special to offer, and they are all unique to the province. The local people of Newfoundland are some of the friendliest people in Canada. There is nothing like their warm welcome and hospitality. They have so much to share with us about their culture and way of life. These friendly faces make saying goodbye hard to do. Then in 2023, we will return to North Atlantic Europe. Starting in Scotland with 2 Scotland Slowly departures, we will then travel from Scotland to Iceland, stopping at the Faroe Islands during our North Atlantic Saga expedition. We'll then circumnavigate Iceland and end with a trip from Iceland to Greenland. Here's a few highlights from each. Up first is our signature 11-day Scotland Slowly tour. We have 2 departures of this itinerary. They follow the same route, with one starting in Greenock and ending in Aberdeen, and the other starting in Aberdeen and ending in Greenock. First, we'll explore the historical significance of Islay. We'll have the opportunity to visit the ancient Neolithic ruins that in the 13th to 15th century was the seat for the lordship of the Isles. Islay is rich in history and culture, but also whiskey. We'll have the opportunity to stop for some whiskey tastings in Islay. We'll visit St. Kilda, where there's a massive archaeology site of an old community, as well as some excellent hiking opportunities like you can see in the photo here. It's home to the beautiful rugged landscapes of Scotland and the remains of the community that I mentioned, but also to hundreds and thousands of seabirds, especially northern gannets. So if you're interested in bird watching, this is a great one for you to do. Finally, we will visit Papastur, where erosion of the soft volcanic rocks by the sea has created an extraordinary variety of caves, stacks, and arches that are among some of the finest in Britain. We'll explore them by zodiacs with a team of naturalists who will interpret everything for us. Next, we have our trip from Scotland to Iceland, which makes a stop in between to explore the Faroe Islands. We call this trip the North Atlantic Saga. The Faroe Islands are considered the jewels of the North Atlantic. Composed of 18 volcanic islands, they sit just 320 kilometers northwest of Scotland. This is an 11-day trip starting in Aberdeen and ending in Reykjavik, and it takes us on an incredible journey between 2 very different countries. The landscapes of the Faroe Islands are like nowhere else. We'll visit staggering cliffs, hosting vast colonies of seabirds and quaint villages clinging to tiny islands. This is an interesting region for those who are keen in human history. Tórshavn on the island of Streymoy has been the effective capital of the Faroes since the Vikings established their parliament here in 850 AD. Okay, this is my favorite highlight, puffins. They're a major highlight of the itinerary because there are some of the largest colonies in this region that we'll get to visit. And in my personal opinion, I think they're the cutest birds on the trip. Next, we'll sail around all of Iceland. Starting and ending in Reykjavik, this 10-day itinerary is filled with the incomparable natural beauty of this Scandinavian country. Seeing Iceland by ship is a unique way of seeing everything that this breathtaking place has to offer. We'll be visiting the Snelsonnez Peninsula, which includes beautiful mountains, caves, craters, and waterfalls. This region is the setting for the Jules Verne book, Journey to the Center of the Earth. Iceland has a lot to offer to those who are interested in human history as well. Here you'll find the Ziggler Fjorder Folk Museum, which has an incredible display of the importance of music to Icelandic culture. This museum is an interactive presentation showing the importance of the sea and fishing to the development of this region, incorporating song, dance, and history demonstrations. For those who want to see whales, Húsavík is the place. The town is of only approximately 2,300 people, and it's one of the best whaling locations worldwide. Common to the bay are humpback whales, which are known to be quite showy, and blue whales, which are the largest animal ever known. They both frequent these waters all the time. And last but certainly not least of our trips is Iceland to Greenland in the wake of the Vikings. This trip starts in Reykjavik, Iceland, and ends in Kongerlisvík, Greenland. Following the path of Eric the Red, this is a 13-day trip sailing around the east, south, and west coasts of Greenland. So you really get to see many different sides of Greenland, and I would even go as far to say that the east coast of Greenland is probably the less visited location of those 3. So if you really want to see something that really a lot of people don't get to see very often at all, this is the trip for you. Margaret Atwood will also be joining us on this trip. We're always excited to travel with Margaret because she has so much to share with us about nature and ornithology. Located in South Greenland, Brattahlid is famous for being the former home of Norse explorer Eric the Red. South Greenland is filled with fascinating archaeology sites, many from the Vikings and attached to the arrival of Eric the Red from Iceland. And we'll also get to see some incredible ice on this trip. The Ebbesked Fjord, or the Fjord of Eternity, is one of Greenland's most impressive fjordscapes with steep, towering peaks and hanging glaciers, flanking a rich body of fishing waters that has been used by locals for centuries. And then we also have some additional itineraries in 2023, including Antarctica. We host 3 different trips to Antarctica. The first one there, Antarctica, South Georgia, and Falklands Explorer. That's the longest. It's 21 days long, so it's really a full-on immersive experience in the region. Then we have Antarctic Whale Journey. This one is a little bit shorter. It's 11 days in length, and it takes place during the best time of year for whale watching. And finally, we have Journey to the Circle, which is 14 days long and is a well-rounded Antarctic itinerary. It's the only trip that dips below the Antarctic Circle. Space is nearly sold out on these trips for 2023, and we'll actually be releasing our 2024 Antarctic season soon in the spring. And we also have a warmer trip sailing from Costa Rica to Panama. This trip takes place on a smaller ship than our standard Ocean Endeavour, so it makes for a more intimate trip of about 44 people. To add to the Adventure Canada experience, we offer optional enhancements on all departures in the Arctic, Atlantic Canada, and Europe regions. Mountain bike rentals are a great way to experience different perspectives in new destinations and enjoy some fresh air off the ship. These are rented daily and there is no sign up prior to departure. For those looking to add a little more adventure to their trip, we have a kayak rental program. This program does require prior kayaking experience and an application submitted ahead of time. Space is limited in this program, so the earlier that we receive your application, the better your chance of joining the program is. Kayaking is offered on all departures of the Ocean Endeavour. And a very popular part of our expeditions is our Nikon lending program. This is an opportunity for all guests to borrow Nikon equipment and learn from our onboard professional photographer how to use them. It doesn't cost anything and all passengers are welcome to participate. It's a great way to use very expensive equipment but not have to pay for it. Another souvenir that is yours to keep for years to come is our Blue Adventure Canada jacket. This is complimentary on each voyage for every passenger. Adventure Canada has several promotions that you can take advantage of when booking your trip. Our multi-trip promotion saves you an additional 10% when you book 2 or more Adventure Canada trips in the same calendar year. Adventure Canada is proud to offer solo travelers the opportunity to book a private cabin to themselves in categories 3 to 7 without having to pay a single supplement fee. And travelers under the age of 30 can take advantage of our family-friendly program, which saves 30% on the berth rate for any of our Ocean Endeavour trips. Contact your BST Vacations travel advisor to learn more about what promotions are available when you book. Adventure Canada has a lot of repeat customers who love to travel with us again and again. One of my favorite things about traveling is meeting all the wonderful people that I cross paths with during my trip. And in some cases, I've made lifelong friends. I can't wait to sail on my first Adventure Canada trip this summer, and I really hope I get to meet some of you on board. Are you ready to book your trip with Adventure Canada? I'll now take time to answer any questions that came through during the presentation. I'm going to look at the chat and the Q&A box. So if you've just thought of one now, you can send it through. And also don't fret, because if you think of something later, you can always message your agent and they'll get in contact with me. I don't think I see any questions coming through. So as I mentioned, if you get in touch with your BST Vacations travel consultant, they'll get in touch with me and we'll be able to answer any questions that come up later.
Well, Alina, thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome.
You still have a bit more to say, but I just wanted to, before you go, thank you for the time tonight. Hope everyone enjoyed that, but we have a big draw coming up, so don't click off yet, right?
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Rob, for mentioning that. I was just going to remind everyone that there is a show special if you want to book before February 16th. And so please contact your BST Vacations travel advisor to learn more about the eligible trips for the promotion. And this is how you can contact your travel advisor. So thank you so much to the wonderful team at BST Vacations for the opportunity to present to you today. Thank you so much to Rob Lowe's and Arlie Elson. I really hope to see you on board the Ocean Endeavour in 2022, everyone. This is an amazing team that you get to work with, and they'll help you get booked onto your next Canada expedition. So you can contact them at any of these locations, or you can email them at info@bstvacations.ca. Do I have all that right, Rob? Do I have all the phone numbers right?
I believe you do. I believe you do.
Wonderful.
And like I said, we've got a lot of us are working remotely right now just because of COVID and restrictions. So if you phone one of those numbers and the person's not in the office, we can connect you to them or have them call you back from their home.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And yeah, the email will reach everyone. Is that right?
That goes to a central. We have a person that monitors that. If you have a particular agent you're looking for, just mention the name in the email. We'll forward it on, or we'll call you back, find out where you're calling from, and connect you with someone. That's
great. Yeah. Okay. So I really need to say thank you again, Rob. It's been so wonderful getting this all set up. And I'm going to move on to how to enter the draw now. Alrighty, so thank you everyone so much for watching. You've been a great interactive audience, so that's wonderful. Thanks for entering the poll. This is the last poll of the night, so this is how you enter the draw for the $500 US credit. In a few moments, the webinar will end and a survey will appear. All you need to do is tell us which expedition you would use the credit for and why, and we'll randomly draw one winner. Thanks again for joining us tonight, and I wish you safe travels.
Thanks, Alina. Have a great night.
Rob.
And thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight, and good luck to those entering the draw.
Yes, good luck. Thank you, everyone.